15 News. This is breaking news.
Thank you for joining us here at 4. Morning in Madison. 3 people are dead, including the suspect, and 6 more injured after a shooter opened fire at Abundant Life Christian School. WMTV's Tabitha Bland joins us right off the top of this newscast 90 minutes after Madison police gave their second press conference regarding today's tragic shooting. Tabitha, fill us in on Chief Sean Barnes and what he shared with the community.
Yeah, we're still at Station 14 on Madison's east side. We're waiting for that next press conference at 5:30. But like you said, we have been here for a couple of hours now. We did hear from Chief Sean Barnes, and we also heard from Fire Chief Chris Carbon. We also heard from Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and Melissa Agard as well as to what happened. There is just so much information here in this room, so much information that we're not actually sure about yet, but we'll be continuing to stay here and wait for. Here is what we do know, though. 3 are dead, including the student shooter, and 3 big things really stood out to me here while we were working through pages of notes and lots of conversations that were happening. The first is that Chief Barnes did mention that there was not a community resource officer at that school. The second is the focus on mental health moving forward, and while students are, still hospitalized, a few of them, many people will be impacted by this mentally moving forward, and that's something that they're working forward and working proactively for. The biggest thing, though, that I noticed with Chief Barnes and his team is that they said that they felt prepared for their response today.
When officers arrive on the scene, they immediately go in, which we did in this case. Stop the threat, stop the killing, find the killer. That's how we train, and that's exactly what we did today. There's no waiting, there's no coordination of who's in charge. Everyone knows exactly what to do.
Chief Barnes had a heavy heart today, as well as everybody else that spoke with us earlier, and we will continue to hold our spot here, and we will be asking those questions that I know all of you at home and in the studio are wondering. We will work through that information and work to get that to you as soon as we can. The next press conference is set for 5:30 right here. Until then, at Station 14 in Madison, Tabitha Bland, WMTV 15 News. Back.
Tabitha, thank you. MMSD released a statement earlier today regarding the shooting, saying that they are shocked by the tragedy and thinking of those who were injured and killed in this senseless tragedy. Part of the statement reads, quote, "This unimaginable tragedy impacts not just one school, but all of us in the greater Madison community. No one should face these complex emotions in isolation. As a community bound by mutual respect and compassion, we urge everyone to continue looking out for one another, to offer kindness, and to keep the Abundant Life Christian School community in your thoughts." MMSD says they will continue classes as normal tomorrow. They also say there will be resources available to support students, families, and staff. And just to be clear, Abundant Life Christian School is not part of the Madison Metropolitan School District. The Boys and Girls Club of Dane County will be holding a candlelight vigil tomorrow to provide comfort and support to the community. The vigil will be at 6 p.m. at Vel Phillips statue that's right there on the Capitol Square. Local leaders, including Madison's mayor, the MMSD school superintendent, they will be in attendance. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County is also organizing efforts to support the youth and families impacted by this tragedy. An organization known as Every Town for Gun Safety Support Fund says there have been 5 reported shootings on school grounds this year. That data does not include today's shooting. 2 people died and 1 was injured in those shootings. You're looking at the tally on your screen. Last year, there were 3 which resulted in 1 death. And in 2022, 5 incidents which resulted in 1 death and 5 injuries. Our team coverage continues now with parents who had kids inside the building when those shots rang out. WMTV's Elizabeth Wattis joins us now. Elizabeth, you spoke with a mom who had multiple family members go to the school, including her daughter.
Yeah, not only that, Lee, the mother I talked to went to the school herself. She lived across from the school her entire life, and their family goes to the church still. So a lot of connections to that school. In fact, she also has a family member who works in the school with her 2 young children who go there. So just minutes after the shooting, this particular parent was able to verify that her 2 children were okay. Now, even though they were okay, so much healing has to go on now. The mother told me that regardless, you know, she tells me that this is where her family's faith comes in.
Something that you pray. I mean, I pray with my kids every morning that this won't happen, and it's the world like that we live in, and but God is good, God is gracious, and my kids are safe. Yeah. My family's safe, so.
Now, I've seen 8 city buses come from the scene that is just about 4 blocks that way. I was on the scene all day, just minutes after the shooting happened, but now you can see that police have this street blocked off. So again, a traffic update for you. This road here, I'm at Stoughton Road and East Buckeye Road. You cannot turn down that way for most vehicles. Police are scanning every car that goes through. Still a very active situation just down the street at that school. But when those buses were coming through, filled with the children, they were housed at the church for safety, and then they were taken all the way over here to be reunited with their family. I was able to peek into those buses, and the small children are always going to stick with me as I saw them. One bus in particular is really going to stick with me. Tiny children coming by, waving and joyous as they were passing, just waving at us. That just shows the innocence of these children and how much work maybe in the next days, weeks, even years they'll have to go through for their healing. But so much innocence could have been taken away today at this school because of this school shooting. Of course, all hands on deck as we wrap this school around us and continue to help them heal and move forward. We will do that as a community. For now, reporting live in Madison, Elizabeth Wattis, WMTV 15 News.
Elizabeth, thank you. Sentiments shared by so many. Governor Tony Evers announced flags will be flying at half-staff in honor of the victims from today's shooting that started immediately, and they will remain at half-staff until sunset on this coming Sunday, the 22nd. Make sure you get the 15 News app for your phone. If you don't have it, it is free to download. It's how I learned about this, a push alert straight to my phone. Any updates about important stories that we are covering. In the case of today, the shooting, the status of those injured, it goes straight to your phone. If you haven't signed up, I would encourage you to do so.